This is the question.
Like
I actually wanted to be.
professional.
I wanted. There we go.
Hair looks good.
Yeah.
Do you need to come over here and spruce it up? Let me see. Or it looks good. Looks good. Come over here, do your thing. Okay. Well, that's cute. I like that. What's up, guys? It's your boy Selly Cell. We're back for the first in a really long time podcast. Real Recognize Real. I have never done an actual video podcast. I've only focused on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and stuff like that. But we're gonna go ahead and start bringing it to the visuals and stuff like that to cater better to the people that love watching me and stuff like that. So today, we're gonna go ahead and answer a couple questions. I'm gonna give you guys some insight on ways that I look at things or things that I've learned throughout my life, and hopefully the stuff that you get from this video helps you better your life or your path towards whatever it is that you're trying to do. So that's a really good question. There's a lot of things that I feel like people misunderstand about me, and the first being that I'm selfish and demanding and things like that because I'm so refined into myself. But after being through so many things in my life and growing up in an environment like I grew up in, you kind of learn to like silence yourself in a way, and not only silence yourself, but you deal with certain situations in an unproblematic way because the drama and all the extra stuff is not really good for me. It's never assisted my life. And when you know yourself, and I know myself pretty well, I know that things that I let come into my subconscious mind cause me more pain than, it would have caused me to remove myself from the room or stop being around this person or say something to protect my peace or whatever it is. So, I definitely think people get the wrong idea of me from the jump. A lot of people misunderstand that I'm like actually a really soft guy. I've had to develop myself into a certain type of man, and growing up around all women in my life, I didn't really have my dad to give me that masculinity, so I grew my masculinity. Not growing up with a father and stuff like that, having to teach myself to be my own man, I had to learn from certain factors of people that I see around me or men that I look up to, and I take piece and piece from those people and build myself into the man that I'm trying to become. So I definitely think that there's a few other things that people don't misunderstand in me, but like in a nutshell, that's probably like the best way to explain it. That's funny. I'm a man that learns from a lot of my hardships. So I actually fail a lot. So it's going to be kind of hard for me to pinpoint the biggest failure, I guess you would say. I guess there was a few things that have led up to me realizing like I'm done failing, but I've done a lot of things. I've started a lot of businesses. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a very hard-headed dude. I learned the hard way a lot, so that means that I fail a lot. And I've done a lot of different things, and I think one of my biggest failures is stopping whatever I was doing in the past, because I've had a lot of traction, a lot of leverage. I've been able to put myself into a lot of positions where I could have really changed my life at an earlier time, but I didn't really have the knowledge or the discipline at the time to capitalize on a lot of these situations. But like, just for example, like when I was younger, I was making videos on Instagram before Instagram was really a big thing. And, I was blowing up, getting millions of views at like 13 years old, just remixing songs, making music. So that was really cool. I stopped doing that. And I actually had a girlfriend back in the day that I ended up deleting my whole entire account for. So that was definitely a big failure that I would say. Another big failure is, I guess I can't really like say exactly, but I got this opportunity to make a lot of money, and I had the position to, sell it and make a lot of money. Pretty much like I got in a position where I lost it. I had to leave the bag wherever it was with all of my expensive stuff in it, and pretty much lost out on like $20,000. So that was a big failure in my life, a big bro, you're stupid moment. I've had a lot of moments with my kids where I realized that I'm not stepping up to be a father. I think a really big failure or like an epiphany moment, and I don't know if this is like, I guess, aligned exactly on the question, but I used to do a lot of psychedelics. And I remember when I was having my first son, it was about like 7 or 8 months, and he was gonna be born in the next 2 months or something like that. And I ended up taking 4 tabs of acid. If anybody knows about doing acid, you know that that's a wild roller coaster just doing one. So taking 4 was unbelievable. You know, I felt like my mind was melting. I felt like I was dying. I got to a point where everything was black. I literally thought I died. Like I couldn't get myself out of whatever I was going through. So pretty much I got to a point where I thought I died. I heard my family's voices, my brother's voices, and they're telling me like, oh my God, like I can't believe my brother just died. We're gonna take care of his son, and my son's not even born yet. So I'm like, oh fuck no, like nobody's gonna take care of my son. I'm gonna take care of my son. And if, you know, for me, like my kids are my biggest thing. So I wanna be a father because I know I offer certain wisdom that you're not just gonna get from any type of man in the world. You have to have a certain type of person to teach you from his hardships or whatever, you know. So just thinking there, sitting there with myself in my mind or wherever I was at the time off the psychedelics, I just couldn't adapt to the fact that I was, first of all, I died, and second of all, the main thing was that I just wasn't gonna be there for my son, you know, and that's the biggest, you know, my son is the greatest thing that ever changed my life, but that moment right there is where I knew I had to start making certain decisions, stop doing the things that I was doing growing up. Almost just fell out there. Stop doing the things that I was doing growing up, and it was time to, you know, reframe the way I look at stuff, the way I go about my life, and the decisions that I'm making, because any decision that I make could be the last decision I make, and it could take me away from my son, it could take me away from the time of my family and have the ability to raise my kid, you know. So I have those that's definitely a failure that I had, because it could have caused me and cost me a lot if it would have went the route that I had thought it went, you know. But in terms of learning, like I just learned that, you know, life's not a joke, and if you take it for granted, it'll take you for granted. And you know, also the people you surround yourself with, the things you do, they have consequences regardless of what you think. So if you just think that you're gonna run around life on luck and hoping that things don't happen, you're gonna likely put yourself in a lot of situations that you may be able to get yourself out of, but it's not always promised. You know, like you could die any day, you know, you could lose someone any day, you could break your arm any day, you could go broke any day. So if you're not like moving at your full capacity and with your full consciousness, you're likely gonna walk yourself into positions you don't want to be in. I would tell my 18-year-old self a lot of things. When I was 18, I'm 23 now, I was making a lot of decisions, you know, following a path that I knew I didn't want to be a part of, but it was kind of like what I was accustomed to growing up around. You know, I grew up around a lot of gang members and drug addicts, you know, and I was trying to prove to myself that I wasn't going to become that, and a lot of the time I was walking in that same path that I didn't want to be in. But I would definitely tell myself to stop hanging around certain people, you know, just because your environment is a lot of what you become. You know, my cousin used to say, you hang around 9 broke niggas, you're liable to be the 10th, and that's the truth. I feel like programming yourself and every day is really important. I would tell myself to stop smoking so much weed and probably sit down and focus, because you have a lot of opportunity. Like I said, I've really dropped a lot of ball on pause. I've really dropped a lot of opportunity in changing my life, which is fine. I'm one of those men that has a lot of wisdom because of what I've learned, so I don't wrong myself for that anymore, but I definitely do wish I could have told myself that. You know, I would have told myself to just do what I love more, you know, because I wasn't following in what I love at that time. I was just so lost. You know, I was trying to find myself and not really taking the right precautions to find myself. So I think that was definitely something that was putting me back, because here I am 5 years later. When you think of it like that, it doesn't seem that long, but 5 years is a really long time. But I would really tell my 18-year-old self just to buckle up, because if I get shit done right now and I do everything right, and I, you know, utilize all the stuff that I know and go outsourcing for more knowledge that I want to know, I could have the life that I want in a year, a couple years, whatever it is, you know. Just like Nipsey Hussle said, there's really no timing, or, you know, it's a marathon, so I can't sit here and just think that it's gonna end after one lap. If I could be remembered for one thing, it's never just gonna be one thing. If I could be remembered for one thing, live free, be free, do as you please, learn, fail, learn, fail, win, still learn, and still fail, and still win. I would tell people that we have one life, and instead of it being like you only live one life, it should be like you only die once. So that means that you should really live a good quality life. Life is about living. Like, you don't even know who you are because people are orchestrating the type of person that you think you're gonna be. Like, you don't even know who you are. You haven't even taken the time with yourself to ask yourself who you are, what you want to do with your life, where you want to go. So I tell people to take more time with yourself, be free, defy people's ideas of you, prove who you really are, structure yourself to be who you really are, and grow a life that you're proud of, so that you're not just living for others, you're living for yourself. It's not just living for the ones you love, like it's really about living for yourself, so you can live with the people that you love and the ones really that love you. Live life, enjoy it, do things big, experience, have kids, see the beauty of that, because that's a life-changing experience for anybody that has never seen a version of themselves with no flaws. It's great. That's gonna be that for today's podcast, Real Recognize Real with Marcel Thomas, Dying Breed, Sally Cell. If you guys wish I would have asked you any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comments so that I can put them in together in the next few videos of the next stuff that I do, so that I can orchestrate that for you guys. I want to make sure I'm asking questions that you guys want to know, that really are structured for you and your mind to help you grow in the places that you want to go. Life is not easy. It's a roller coaster. You're going to fall down. You're going to bump your head. You're going to scrape. You're going to break shit. You're going to wish you could have did stuff different. The whole point is, regardless, when you get knocked down, you need to stand up. You need to stand tall, and you need to keep pushing forward, because just like one thing, you could fall and you could never get back up, and you could have stood up, and a couple of steps more could have been the change that you were looking for in your life. So do not give up on your dreams. Follow them. Do not listen to what anybody tells you, because you are who you know you are, not who they think you are. Sally Cell, Dying Breed, Real Recognize Real.